Voila!
Austin Katie, oh, Austin Katie, oh, Austin Katie, oh, Austin Katie.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, as you can see from the title and background, we're talking about Scary Movie, also known as Scary Movie 6. And to give you a little bit of a preference, I love parody movies. Like, I absolutely love the parody movies. I especially love the scary movies. You know, if you look back on my channel, I have a lot of skits. None of them very great, but a lot of them were inspired by movies like Scary Movie, like superhero movie, like disaster movie, like epic movie. I grew up in the era where parody movies were a thing, and a lot of them ain't great, you know, but I have fun with them. I love the schlocky entertainment of it all, and while some of them I'm like are clearly better than others, some of them I have a soft spot for, like superhero movie. I think that movie's funny. But then, of course, even before the early 2000s, you had like The Naked Gun, you had Airplane, you have those kind of movies, and I can enjoy some of them. Mostly The Naked Gun, Airplane, and uh, I think Airplane's really the only other spoof one I could think of. But Naked Gun movies I like. I think they're funny. But I enjoy the early 2000s spoof movies like the two scary movies and again superhero movie, disaster movie, all that shit. So when they announced that we were getting Scary Movie with the Wayans brothers back, and I like the Wayans brothers. I like some of their stuff. You know, they got some funny movies under their belt for sure. I was like, hell yeah, dude, we're bringing comedy back. This is what we need right now. Naked Gun just came out last year with Seth MacFarlane. I thought that movie was funny. I thought that was a great movie. And then, you know, they announced this, and I'm like, yes, dude, like bring comedy back. We got to make fun of again. We got to go I want to go to the theater and laugh again, like belly fucking laugh again. Did this movie deliver on that? Not really. And I'll get into why. So I'm gonna list with the pros because I have a lot more cons that I'm gonna get into, and that's gonna be a lot longer than my pros are. Pros, I think Anna Faris and Marlon Wayans were the best performances in this whole movie. You could tell they were really comfortable coming back to these characters. You could tell they were really trying their best to be those characters again. Specifically, is he over here? Yeah, Marlon Wayans, particularly him. You could tell like he was putting on 100% as Shorty. You could tell he missed playing that character. You could tell he wanted to be that character again. You know, same thing with Anna Faris here. You know, I thought she did great. I mean, she's always been great at playing the Sydney character, the bumbling white girl that doesn't know what the fuck's going on. She plays that character perfectly. And I thought those two were the best of this whole movie. You know, if I had to like pick a third, if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Brenda right here. I forget her name right now at the moment, but Brenda, I thought she was great too. Um, but I love seeing those characters back. I love seeing the core characters, the core four, as they say in the movie. I love seeing the core characters together again, like it is the original scary movies. But I could tell those two for sure had the most fun coming back, and you could tell Marlon for sure was putting on like his best boy pants because he wanted to prove that hey, we could be Shorty again. I'm not too old to be playing Shorty. And then outside of that, I thought there were some clever jokes. As in, I'll spoil one because I don't want to spoil all the jokes. But I was spoiled. I liked the meta joke at the end of the movie where it was the Wayans brothers were the killers and they were the ones they were trying to kill everybody from Scary Movie 3, 4, and 5 for working on those movies and stuff like that. I thought that meta joke and them killing the parody versions of Tara and uh, oh god, what's her name from basically the two lead characters from Scream 5 and 6. I thought that was great. I thought that was like the most genius fucking joke of the whole movie. Was like, okay, that's funny. That's a funny meta commentary. And you know, again, there were some other clever jokes, and I'm like, all right, but for the most part, that's kind of the only pros I can honestly give the movie. I think the biggest thing from this movie is just it's not belly laughter funny. There is no scene in this movie that's memorable, like the little strong hand from Scary Movie 2, like the "What's up" from Scary Movie 1, or the "Run, bitch, run" from the original movie. Like, there's no iconic scene from this movie. And I'm not saying every movie they touch has to be iconic, but there's no scene from this movie that I walk away being like, that was super fucking funny. Oh my God, that one part made me laugh my ass off. Like, I never had a scene. The whole movie is throwing 120 jokes at you a minute. And I think maybe one, I'm like, that was it. That was it. And I'm like, dude, I wanted this movie. Like, I laughed more at The Naked Gun last year. And that had some actual like memorable, funny moments. I can quote those right now off the top of my head. You know, the scene where he ate too much fucking food and had to shoot his gun so he could make a fucking bathroom line to go to the bathroom and shit before he shat himself. You know, there's so many other scenes from the Naked Gun movie that I'm like, that was actually fucking funny and it's memorable. This movie doesn't have any of that. Doesn't have any memorable moments. Doesn't have any funny, actual gut laughter out loud moments. And I think that's the most disappointing of it all, is that you have a Wayland's Brother movie. You have a scary movie that's promising that we're gonna be better than 3, 4, and 5, and to some degree it is, but then to some degree it isn't. It feels like, all right, you're just doing what Scary Movie 3, 4, and 5 did to some degree with some of the jokes. Is it better than those movies? For sure, on a technical aspect, because they're obviously trying more than 3, 4, and 5. But then there's some parts I'm like, are you even trying? And again, what I'm about to say, this is not me saying I'm better than the Wayland brothers, but I will say there are scenes in this movie that I feel like I could come up with a better gag. I feel like I could come up with a better joke than what they portrayed in the movie. Like again, there's certain like again, I'll go back to this the Art the Clown one, right up here. What was the joke in that? It was just the exact same scene from Terrifier, other than he's giving out limbs and shit to children, unlike in the original. What's the joke about that? You know, or like up here, this guy, the strong hand, but he's parroting long legs. What was the joke in that? Other than it's the long legs guy and he has fucking, you know, his strong hand. That's the best you got? Like, with how, like, Nicolas Cage was funnier in the Long Legs movie than this guy up here was as the parody version of Long Legs. Like, what? And they don't even, like, I don't know what happened to the, yeah, right here. I don't know what happened with the Squid Games. I mean, unless I just like skimmed right past it, but I didn't see the Squid Games parody. But then you have the chick over here, yeah, over. Get your directions pointed over here. The girl over here, yeah, the Tuesday girl. What was funny about that, other than like we were making fun of the fact that Jenna Ortega was acting her fucking ass off in Scream 5? Like, I just feel like there was a lot of jokes you could have made that you either just did the most basic version of that joke that I've seen on the internet millions of times, like on TikTok and shit, or you just did a joke that was just like half baked, half undercooked. Again, I go back to the substance joke. Amusing, but I'm like, that was the best you had? That was the best you had for the movie The Substance? Was that joke? That was the joke? Or like the character, you know, the Get Out segment, that's the best you had? Was that scene? Like, it just, there were so many meta points and so many jokes in the movie that I'm like, that's the best you had? Like, I could have came up with a better version of that. You know, I go back to like Ray up here. One of my favorite characters from the first two Scary movies. I thought he was fucking funny. I love gay humor. That shit's funny. And the best you have with Ray is him recreating a meme from the internet of "I'm not gay no more. I am deliverant." That's the best you got? Seriously? I don't know. I just, and this is probably it's probably sounds like me dog shitting on this movie, and I'm really not. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'd ever watch it again, but I enjoyed it. But I'm just more disappointed because of the fact that this movie could have been kick ass. This movie could have been something that was like holy shit levels of funny. It could have brought the parody genre back. It could have brought the humor from the 2000s back. And I feel like a lot of the jokes we had were just, yeah, dude, you made a joke about COVID. Cool. We haven't had that on the internet for 6 years. Wow, dude, you made a joke about trans people. Like, we haven't heard that on the internet for the past 6 years. I just feel like a lot of these jokes were like, I've seen that better done, if not already been beaten to death with that joke on the internet many times. And so that's the only thing. It's just, it's one of those, and I don't know how much of that was just, you know, creative differences between the brothers where they're just like, I don't want to, you know, to offend people. Or I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened in the sense of like, where were the originality of these jokes? Where were the original creative freedom of these parodies? Because I didn't see it. I just feel like I did the most basic, mundane versions of all these parodies. And I'm like, I feel like I could have done better. I feel like I, who could have sat down, was trying to think of something funnier with Long Legs or Terrifier or, you know, fucking The Substance or Get Out or any of these other parodies that they're doing. I feel like you could have had a better fucking joke made there if you just would have sat on it and cooked it a little better. You know, like I thought of a joke on the way home from this movie. I'm like, they didn't parody Halloween Kills, and there's the perfect thing to parody. The evil dies tonight. You could have parodied the fuck out of that. You could have thrown that in there, and you didn't. And I'm like, and I thought of that on the way home that, hey, that would have been a funny Halloween Kills parody, is make fun of the fact that they said evil dies tonight 20 damn times in the movie. And it's like, that's sad when I come out of a scary movie thinking I could make better jokes. That's not good. And that's not an ego stroke. That's not me saying I'm funnier than the Wayans or I'm creative, but it just goes to show, that they even sit and put any creative thoughts into what they were parroting, into what they were making fun of? Because I don't feel it when I watch the screen. And the fact that the whole movie to me just feels like an SNL skit. It just feels like we're joking and doing SNL cutaways like Family Guy gags and shit for the sake of it. And that doesn't, to me, when I go back to the scary movies 1 and 2, they're parodying one movie. Like the basic skeleton of the parody is the one movie they're copying. But then they find creative ways to include the other movies. The other movies, I know what you did last summer in the first movie, this movie, that movie. I feel like there's creative ways that they include other movies on top of the first movie that they're parodying. This one just feels like, oh, we're gonna have a Get Out scene for 10 minutes, then cut to The Substance, parody that for 3 minutes, then cut to this other movie for a couple. It just feels like we're just cutting away to different movies, and that's the movie. The movie is just 9 to 10 parody movies stitched together. And it's like, that's not funny. Because you had a scene from Sinners, and then you skip that scene from Sinners to The Substance, then you skip that scene from The Substance to making fun of Ma, and then making fun of this internet meme, and then cutting to the art, and it's just like, is that really like a structured? The only time it really was like staying true to what we're parodying, which is Scream, was like the opening and the ending. The rest of the middle was just, we're gonna cut to different movies. And even the post-credit scenes, which there are two, you could tell there were scenes in the movie that they cut out and just put it as a fucking post-credit scene, because it's like they were making fun of Nosferatu and they were making fun of Longlegs, the interrogation scene. They're long-ass post-credits. They're like full 2-minute scenes. And you can tell, okay, that was probably in the movie somewhere and they just didn't know where to fit it. So like, fuck it. Put it to the end of the movie. And that's just sad. So like, I mean, I know I'm ranting on this movie, but I just got to be honest. I was so disappointed. This is one of my most anticipated movies of June and just of the year, because I just wanted a really good old school comedy, because I love parody and comedy movies. And I gotta say, I walked away really disappointed from this movie. This is gonna be easily my top 10 disappointments of the year. So maybe I'm being too harsh on this movie. Maybe I'm not, giving the movie the credit of what it deserves, because there are obviously people out there who loved it. I mean, people in my theater were clapping and laughing more than I did. So I don't know what that says about me, but I was severely disappointed in this movie, guys. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. That's really about it, honestly. So you guys jump in the comments. You guys let me know what you thought of this movie. Did you love it? Did you feel like me? Were you in the middle? You leave your thoughts and opinions down below. And hell, man, if you have any funnier jokes that you would add to it, I'd love to hear. If you walked out thinking, oh, I could add to this joke, or I could do this, I could do that. Because I mean, if you could honestly make a funnier joke than this movie did, I'd love to hear it. A funnier way to parody one of these movies than they did. So you guys jump in the comments down below. You let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye bye.